Refugees and asylum seekers are foreign nationals who come to the United States for the same thing: safety. To get that, both must prove they fear persecution or were persecuted in their home country for one of 5 reasons: race, religion, nationality, politics, or membership in a social group. San Diego immigration lawyer Tammy Lynn says the 2 groups are nearly the same, but
the only difference is that refugees get their legal status abroad.
Refugees may be fleeing major conflicts that can get the attention of international organizations. Those groups then support camps that provide refugees with food, shelter, and other assistance.
So when they enter the country, they already are deemed a refugee.
Lynn says asylum seekers typically don't have this option because they're often fleeing individual conflicts.
I have LGBT cases from former Soviet Union, from the African continent, a client that has an arrest warrant for just being gay. I have folks that were politically active.
One option for them is to reach the U.S. first and then file for asylum. Kathy Anderson is executive director of the nonprofit Survivors of Torture International. She says for many, the asylum process begins at our border.
And they may say things once they arrive to our port of entry and say something along the lines of, it's not safe for me to go home. If I go home, I'm going to be killed.
Asylum seekers can wait an estimated 2 to 5 years until their claim is approved, if it is at all. Anderson says until then, they're not entitled to the same supportive services as refugees, which include welfare, food stamps, and programs offered by resettlement agencies.
It is a very invisible, marginalized population. The structures that we have in place are set up beautifully for refugee resettlement agencies. Comparable structures are not in place for the asylum seekers.
That means we're not spending taxpayer dollars while their claims are pending. But Lynn says this leaves asylum seekers with few options.
There may be local nonprofits that have programs maybe they're eligible for, but in terms of any government assistance, they don't qualify. Also, for a lot of nonprofits, it depends whether or not they look at legal status. For asylum seekers, they are in this strange limbo where they are not illegal, but they're not legal because they're waiting for something. They're just pending.
During that time, many are released from custody and must support themselves while awaiting their day in court. But Lynn says this can be a benefit.
And so they would be able to do their cases outside of the detention facility, which actually saves taxpayers money and also helps attorneys and their clients be able to do their cases much more efficiently and not under constraints.
However, an executive order from the Trump administration would limit this policy. In the document, the president declared it is the policy of the executive branch to end the abuse of parole and asylum provisions currently used to prevent the lawful removal of removable aliens. Terrence Shigg is the president of the local Border Patrol union. Agents frequently encounter people seeking asylum and turn them over to Immigration and Customs Enforcement. He says since Trump's order, immigration officials have prioritized the detention of single adults, but space has been a problem. He says families are still paroled in the U.S. after a few days. But he also says agents have raised concerns over the last couple of years that asylum fraud is a growing problem. In an email, he wrote, "Many of the unsubstantiated claims we hear on a regular basis by asylum seekers is not what the asylum system was set up for." Taryn Mento, KPBS News.